part 2 of the beam engine build. In part 1 we could see how I made the base, the flywheel and the cylinders. So I think now it's time to make the pistons. First I thought use this piece of I don't know what steel, but I found this one, this piece of cold roll. Looks beautiful. I just have to cut it in two, turn a little bit the OD down and it will be perfect. Now let me explain a little bit the system. If we have here the cylinder, I made a pivot point system here because this beam is making a circular movement, is fixed here, circular movement. And to compensate the left and right movement, I made here this pivot point. So there will also be in the cylinder a side load. That's why I'm gonna make my pistons the total length of the cylinders. So they will take off this side load. In real beam engines, of course, the cylinder is fixed to the base, and to compensate the left and right movement of this beam, they make a grasshopper system. That's not a joke. They call it the grasshopper. If you Google grasshopper grasshopper beam engine, you will find. But I think that was a bit too complicated to make 4 times the same pivot system, so I did this one. Much easier. Let's make pistons. Pistons seems to work, not a problem. Now I'm gonna make the crank pins, and this is the piece I cut out here for the flywheel. And I think if I drill a hole in here, put it on, of course, cut it off, and then in the lathe I'm gonna turn off this bolt. I'm gonna have a beautiful crank. But first, clean it up a bit in the shaper. I didn't bother to clean up the other side. There's no need. It will be here on the inside. It's not a critical surface. Okay, now we're gonna make holes in this thing. One here, one here, one here somewhere, one here somewhere. And then cut it in two. Voila. I think that's more than enough precision. Well, these 10mm tabs, I use them so much I don't even cut anymore. Should buy new, but for the moment I have to do with what I have. And in the meanwhile, while nobody was watching, I made the central column. Drill 4 holes, drill holes here and tap. I suppose nothing special about maybe my a little bit redneck setup to drill these holes. I shortened a few bolts. Let's put these parts together and see what it looks like. Oh, really? Come on, little washer. Uh-huh. So it looks like this. I also started to prepare the beams. I'm gonna drill 2 or 3 holes in it and put them together and find some way to make them a bit more narrow here at the ends and keep this distance in the middle. First I wanted to cut this beam here just a little bit in straight line to make it a bit smaller, but according to my highly detailed plans over here, it should be rounded. So I made the outlines with my XXL circle drawing thing, homemade of course. So drill the holes, put these parts together and cut it out. I think it was a good idea to put them together to work these surfaces, because normally when I have to make two exactly the same parts, they always come out different. So this is a very good system. Let's separate. Damn, it's tight. Right. I'm gonna clean them up a bit and then see what it looks like on the engine. Well, it looks like this. Not bad. There is a little bit of slop here. That's not a good idea, I think. But I have a piece of aluminium pipe here. In here I can fit a little bolt M4. So if I make bushings, drill and tap here M4, put a bushing on, and then drill this. This is 6 millimeter. Drill 6. Maybe it's gonna be a little bit better. If not, I can always make a bronze bushing. I have little pieces of bronze here. I can drill this hole bigger, put a bushing in and adapt it to this axle here. We'll see how it turns out, but first connect this one. Yeah, of course. Got you. Something like this, for example. Of course, I cut this off and cut that off. It's way too long, but I suppose you got the idea. That could do the trick. The people who lived here before us made this thing. This is a hand-forged name for the house. I think it's a bit stupid to put a name on your house. It's a bit like tattooing a name on your... However, I think I can use it to cut out some pieces and make some... connecting rods. I think the time has come to make a valve system to let the air in and out of the cylinders. So let's check out again our highly detailed plan. It's not marked on it. Okay, let's figure out something and make it work. That's all. Right. And another insert bites the dust. Rest in peace. Spring loaded without a spring. Let's say air spring. From now on, I have to learn to live with a painful separation. After all these years. Right. I made these two things here. These are gonna be the valves to allow the air to get in and out of the cylinders. This one gonna be mounted right here. Already drilled the hole in here. And then connect with plastic tubes. But to explain the system, let's go over to the blackboard. To explain a little bit better how it works, all I have to do is to step back a bit and wait until the drawing appears on the blackboard. Right, it's always handy to have an automatic blackboard. Here we go. I have this thing. It's a cylinder with inside some kind of piston that can move. Yeah? So here is the cylinder body. The pointed line is the piston. Now this piston is completely down. No problem. If we apply air pressure, it comes in here. Nothing will happen. We will have this chamber here. I don't know how to draw it. This chamber will be filled with air pressure. For the moment, the valve is closed, so no air can go in this tube. If I lift a bit the piston, you see that here is a recess. Let's make the recess that we take away, recess, take away. So it means that air can go out of the engine into the valve system and escape this way. That's why there is a notch in here I made with the angle grinder. I could machine it, but it takes too long, just angle grinder, and the air can escape in this notch, in this slot. No problem. Now, if the engine is running, this piston will go up, and air, if I draw the piston here, up, air can go from this pipe into this pipe. Push the piston from the engine down, of course push also with the system the valve back down, air comes out this way, and here we have only pressure, that's all. So if the engine is running with the air pressure, this piston thing is pushed against the beam. No need of spring, nothing. Top side, now air can pass from this upper tube into the cylinder that's on the back side, and will push the piston up, and will push the valve down to allow air to escape again from the notch I made here. The only problem I have with this valve system is that I cannot change the timing. So that could be a bit problem, but I'm gonna try anyway. This is just an experiment, it's not a real beam engine, of course. I'm gonna try. If it doesn't work, I will come up with something else. I only installed one valve, should be enough to see if it works or not. So one valve is gonna run on one cylinder. I also put these ugly things on here. I have to change this because I don't like it at all. But first we'll see if it works. Nope. No, it doesn't work. There is also lots of air leak over here that I have to fix. That's not a big problem. So the timing with this system is not correct. The only way I can fix this is put an eccentric right here and right here. There's just enough room left so I can install eccentric and then install my valves horizontal, something like this, maybe shorter. I will see. But I think I'm gonna stop it here with this video. It's already more than long enough. I will make eccentrics and make it run in part 3.